why do I always have to ask for my money? Like, why? And then when I ask for my money, I feel like it's taking forever for it to come, or you're not responding. I feel like when you hire me for a job, the communication is flowing, but when I need my money, it dries up. Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty here, Aquia Robinson, and today I want to share with you some lessons that I learned in 2024. I can't believe that January is almost over, and after January, we're gonna be right back to Christmas before we know it. But I did want to take some time and reflect with you all, my friends in beauty, on some things that I learned that I just want to share, and maybe it's something that you can relate to, or maybe it's something that you can look out for when these type of things happen to you, maybe. But I can honestly say that I had an amazing 2024. I know everybody can't say that, but I literally can't complain about 2024. I think 2024 for me felt like what everybody thought 2020 was going to be, like, ooh, 2020 vision. Like, so many amazing things happened this year. And then I also had a lot of things that weren't so favorable that happened as well, that I was like, okay, I can honestly take this like as a learning lesson. So I did not do like a whole social media recap and all of those things. I'll get to the reason why I didn't do that a little bit later. So this is my way of kind of reflecting and sharing with you all some things for 2024. I feel like, if you scroll back through my timeline and stuff, you can see all the amazing things that happened and all the things that I did in 2024. I actually did a lot, and I'm just like tremendously grateful for all of the opportunities and all the things that I got to do this year. So let's go ahead and get into it with the first lesson that I learned, which is number one, don't let nobody play with you. And combined with that, get everything in writing, okay? That is a lesson that I learned. And it's something that I've always known, but as far as don't let nobody play with you, I have a little story time for y'all a little bit later, but listen, no matter where somebody is in their journey, whether they have 20 years in the game, 30 years in the game, 40 years in the game, and you look at them as a mentor, or someone that just look up to in the industry or business, whatever, don't let nobody play with you. I don't care who they are. Like, if they're doing something that is outside of your boundaries, if they are disrespecting you, if they are not, if they don't see you, okay, if they're trying to diminish what you're doing, cut them off. Don't let nobody play with you. Like, I don't care what they do. They don't have that type of power to rule your life. On that note, as far as getting everything in writing, like, I think I'm just my mother's child in that way. And it's something I'm even teaching like my goddaughters too, is like, when you have a conversation with somebody, even if it's a phone conversation, like, people just love to talk on the phone. I am like, when I'm handling business or just certain things, I actually prefer to have like emails or text messages, because I like to be able to go back and reference what was said. So I'm even teaching my goddaughters. One of my goddaughters had a situation one time where she talked to somebody on the phone, and then something happened and they tried to say, oh, I didn't say that. Even if you have a phone conversation with somebody, always follow up via email or via text, just to like summarize that conversation, so nobody can come back and say that they didn't say what they said. Okay, period. I had a situation with a podcast guest that I will be sharing a story time on very soon, that tried me. And luckily, I had everything in writing. So you can't come back and say that I said this and you didn't say that. Okay? I have everything in writing. So that situation caused me to reflect. It was definitely a learning lesson as far as how I'm going to move forward with my podcast, and how I'm going to continue to stand on business and all of the things. But yes, I just wanted to share with y'all. If there's somebody out there that you look to as a mentor, or even if it was me, like, don't let nobody play with you in your brand. Don't let nobody play with you in your business. Don't let nobody play with you in the things that you have spent your hard earned, like, time, money, all those things on. Okay? Lesson number one. Get everything in writing and don't let nobody play with you. Lesson number two is you miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. One thing that I realized in 2024 is like all of the amazing things that I was able to do this year or receive this year were a direct reflection of me just taking a chance and just trying something new, speaking up and advocating for myself, asking for opportunities that I wanted, applying for grants and winning, things like that. Um, I've had podcast guests that I'll talk to that have other businesses, and I was able to like put my bid in to be like, hey, what about this? And also I have an amazing opportunity that's coming up in May of this year to moderate a panel. And it was all because another podcast guest that I had, she's having this event, HEBS, the Hair Education Beauty Summit, I think that's what it's called. I'll keep y'all posted. But when I talked to her on the podcast, I'm like, let me know if you need a moderator for your panels or whatever. And she's like, absolutely, yes. And they reached out to me, and now I'm going to be moderating a panel for that summit come in May. So you literally miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. Nobody's necessarily coming and looking for you if they don't know what you do. So you have to put yourself out there. If there's something that you want to do, there's an opportunity, or sometimes you even have to create your own opportunities. If you're not getting your foot in the door that way, you can create it yourself. So I just want to encourage you to step out of your comfort zone a little bit and advocate for yourself a little bit more. If there's something that you want to do, there's no harm in asking. And I literally witnessed this in person, and it inspired me so much too. One of my clients, who was also the host, she's the host, her and her husband are the hosts of Spotlight Over the City. They invited me to a sneaker ball that they had. It was for charity. They were asking people to donate toys and everything like that, bring a toy. It was absolutely free, invite only and everything. The event was so wonderfully executed, and I learned that literally like most of the elements in there were sponsored. It all came from her asking people to donate their time, donate their services. And I know that was like it was so inspirational to me, because I know a lot of times what holds me back from doing events to the caliber that I want to do, or just certain things, is like I be thinking like nobody is going to volunteer to like provide their services in that way. But I was like absolutely wrong when I saw how beautifully executed, like how they beautifully executed that event. So that is another example of just asking. I'm like, whoa, I know so many people in so many different industries that I can literally just ask a favor, ask them. It's exposure for their brand as well. And they may say yes and they may say no, but I will never know if I don't ask, right? So take that advice. You miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. So if there's something that you've been wanting to do, something that you've been wanting to participate in, like all of those things, I would encourage you just ask. Just ask. Lesson number three, y'all. Lesson number three is it is totally okay to end relationships that no longer serve you and where you are right now. And I know it could be hard because you might have built, of course, you've built relationships with people over time, but sometimes those relationships change and they just don't serve you anymore and where you are in the current season of your life. And especially if people aren't upholding their end of the bargain. I'm trying to figure out how to like articulate this right. Especially when people aren't upholding their end of the bargain, it just makes it so much easier. If you listen to the Friends in Beauty podcast, this is specifically coming from like if you listen to the Friends in Beauty podcast, right? You probably heard me mention several times since like November or something, or maybe December, that I'm still waiting on money from a job that I hadn't received yet, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm referring to. I have been working with this company for 10 years, and recently I've noticed that why do I always have to ask for my money? Like, why? And then when I ask for my money, I feel like it's taking forever for it to come, or you're not responding. It's feel like when you hire me for a job, the communication is flowing, but when I need my money, it dries up. And that's something that, we deal with as beauty pros or just entrepreneurs in general, the whole net 30 thing and all those things. But I want to let you know that I got my money well after net 30, well after net 60. Okay, I literally just got my money like a few days ago as of the time of this recording. It was way past 2 months, and I just feel like that's unacceptable. So in my world, I know that I'm no longer working with that company anymore because obviously they don't respect me. They don't respect my bills, okay? Because like my bills don't care about whatever you got going on. They don't respect it. So in my head, I'm like, it's totally okay. Like I had a good run, a lot of wonderful experiences with this company and everything. Love them down, but I don't want to have to deal with that stress anymore. And I think it's just totally like unfair to like put somebody through that. So I'm just like, yeah, it's time. It's time. It's time to cut ties. I'm actually like in a space anyway where I'm not really excited about makeup application. I prefer to teach. I prefer to do community events, the podcast and everything like that. And it's not like they're giving me so many jobs per year that it's going to make a huge dent in my income. But just the way that that situation was handled, I'm like, it's okay. Like it's okay to end the relationship. So that's a lesson that I learned. It's like it's totally okay to sever, burn the bridge, whatever you got to do with people who aren't respecting you, who with people who aren't respecting your business, people ain't paying you on time. Like who got time for that? I don't. I don't have time for that. I'm too old for that to be playing those type of games with people. So, lesson learned, it is 100% okay to cut people off. Another lesson that I learned is that it is totally okay to take a break. I am 100% done with the hustle and bustle. One thing that I realized is that everything still happens the way that it's supposed to happen. So, gone are the days of just grinding. Like, I still work hard and I still got things that need to get done, but I need to start prioritizing myself way more. I hate the days that I get to and I'm like, oh my God, it's like 5 o'clock and I have not eaten. You know what I'm saying? Because I just get so caught up and wrapped up in trying to complete a task or get my to-do list done and all those things. And I feel like I'm neglecting myself, which is not cool, which is why I am doing the water break retreat in July. Shout out to everybody who has signed up for so far. I'm doing a retreat to Bali, July 6th through 12th for Friends in Beauty. It's called the Water Break Retreat. It's because we need to take a water break. We need to take a break. If you're on the verge of burnout or you just feel like, you just need to refresh, reconvene, and come back with fresh eyes to your business, definitely join us for the Water Break Retreat because it's going to be amazing. It's not anything that's business related. It really just is us relaxing with intention, doing some excursion, having a little fun, whatever. And then, like in the sun in Bali, like, come on, y'all, come on. But yes, done are the days of the hustle and bustle. Like, everything still happens the way that it's supposed to. And it's okay to take a break. It's okay. That's a lesson that I learned. It's okay to take a break. Life will still move on. It might not happen as soon as you wanted it to, but it's not gonna happen at all if you burn out and God forbid don't make it. So make sure you're taking breaks, prioritizing yourself, prioritizing rest, and if you need a water break, then definitely join us for the water break retreat. I'll leave all the details in the description. And the last lesson that I learned, oh my God, the last lesson that I learned is that vacationing out of the country, or maybe just vacationing period, but vacationing out the country at the end of the year, beginning of the year, it works for me. Like it totally works for me. So at the end of the year, into the new year, I was in Ghana, okay? And I was just having the time of my life. I was totally disconnected because I feel like the thing about, I would say definitely overseas, you could definitely vacation, like, in the country that you're in. But I feel like what did it for me with going overseas is that with the phone service that I have, I didn't necessarily have, I had service, but it wasn't as reliable. I'll say, yeah. I had service, but it wasn't as reliable as just being on my regular network. So I was like totally disconnected in a sense. Like I only was on Instagram or social media when I was on Wi-Fi. I was just totally enjoying myself, and my screen time was down like it was insane. My screen time was down like so much. It was just so impeccable. And that was the reason why I told y'all in the beginning, that was the reason why I didn't really feel compelled to do like a whole 2024 recap, because when I was out of the country, I was really kind of disconnected from what everybody else was doing because I wasn't necessarily on social media. So going on social media, at some points I would see people doing their whole recaps, but because I was out of the country and I was doing my own thing, I didn't feel the pressure of having to come back and say, hey, like this is everything that I did for 2024. Like I barely even posted on my page. I posted like one thing, a Happy New Year thing from Ghana. I might still post some pictures though, because I had like a really, really good trip. I was posting in my story throughout the time that I was there. And even that was a little staggered and stuff like that, because I was really just in the moment and enjoying myself and in the sun and soaking up the culture and having experiences in real time. So I really feel like going out the country and bringing in the new year out the country really worked for me. But it was kind of hard when I got back though. I ain't gonna lie. It was kind of hard because that jet lag kicked my butt. And I ain't feel like doing nothing. I like just to get back into the groove of going back to work when you coming from like 90-degree weather. And then I live in DC. I came back and it literally snowed like 2 days after I got back, and it was cold and I got sick, and I'm still recovering. I'm still a little congested, but it's something about going out the country that really did it for me. And I need to like investigate. I think I need to do it a couple of more times to really be able to articulate, the feeling, but I think it worked for me. I think it really, really works. So if you've never been out the country before, like Christmas time and into the new year, you might should try it. You should probably try it, right? But yeah, those are all the lessons that I learned in 2024. Let me know if you can relate to any of them. And if you have some lessons of your own that you learned, definitely leave it down below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this was helpful in some kind of way or entertaining, whatever. Make sure you tune into the Friends of Beauty podcast every single Wednesday for, transparent conversations with other beauty pros. Make sure you join the Friends of Beauty Trailblazers Club. What else? Come to Bali with us. I'll leave all the things down in the description. Follow me on social media at Aquia Robinson. You can follow Friends in Beauty as well. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.